Okay, I just spoke into I just spoke into a video that wasn't that long, and then I couldn't understand why it was powering down. It's because I never pressed record on this button. Interestingly enough, I was talking about digital detox that I was doing. Uh and just all the buttons that we have to press. I'm actually decompressing all these buttons that I need to press, but I am prioritizing coming and sitting down here on a nightly basis. That ends up being night. Right now it's 2:38 in the morning. And truthfully, I didn't want to sit down. I was kind of going through the scroll on the couch after I got came in my third bedtime accomplished cord I put down at 10:30. She's super busy tonight and she's in our bathroom because it's quiet and dark. And I rolled her crib in there because JD's at the Holiday Inn because he has to wake up for work in like an hour and a half. Um, for conference calls, just some of the Hawaii life kind of things. Cruise went down after we giggled and he built things. And then after we had played in the backyard with the hose, we did some chickpea chocolate chip cookies because we had a couple chocolate chips left from the neighbor. And then Camden had built this like elaborate reading tent. And we read a lot of Halloween books and started reading more this cute little like forest creature book series that she's into that I'm into. Did she fall asleep and did I finish the rest of this like 70-page chapter book? Absolutely, I did. This is the second time I've done that. Coming for you, so who knows? But I think I was talking into the other video, which didn't get recorded, about the digital detox and this conviction that I've been having right now, reading a book called Resetting Your Child's Brain. And it has resonated with me on a lot of levels. And I read it from the lens of, yes, a mom, and how do I do the best for my kids? And I'm not comparing or thinking, oh, I should have done differently. Like, I own up to every way that my kids have. We had a screen-filled summer. Like, let's call it what it is. I loved Super Mario Brothers growing up. Had the Nintendo, had the Game Boy, even had a Sega Genesis. Like, I was like all about Aladdin game, AABB, like get me out of that market area. Um, could crush some Sonic, and I earned some major cool points showing them like all the extra lives, and I beat Super Mario Brothers on the original Nintendo this summer. So yes, I played plenty of video games with them this summer. It was something fun we did. And they've had the iPad, they have our phone. Like, we watched the Olympics this summer. We don't have cable, but we subscribe to NBC to like really get into the Olympic spirit. And we have educational games on there. We do supervised YouTube, all of it. And then with our homeschool, there's like apps with it. And Cruz loves to play games on my phone. So all that to say, like, we've had days of lots of screen time, months of lots of screen time. And I just began to feel convicted about how it's impacting the nervous system. Like, I don't feel that, there's any pathological issues going on with our kids, but I definitely feel that as a mom, I want to give them the gift that one of my biggest roles I feel is extending their childhood for as long as possible, igniting their imaginations in any way that I can, honoring their natural creative flow and their fluency in the language of play. And I want to meet them there in their imagination worlds. I want to be present. I want to challenge myself to be off technological devices when I'm in their presence, to show them that they're important, that eye contact is important, that conversational skills and being bored is okay, and coming up with new ideas and doing scavenger hunts. So I've been doing that for the last few weeks, and it's been more toys everywhere, more mess than I've already felt like I was on a constant cleaning cycle. always triaging and having multiple tabs open here, like, okay, let's play that. Play the Dex game, but also like, let's clean this up. Let's have a second kitchen for them so I can clean two kitchens, all of that. But I want I get to and I choose to be bigger than like my, oh, I I no longer am going to hide behind like utilizing technology as a way to just kind of check out, in terms of like, no, oh, it's easy. Like, let's pop them down in front of this movie or that show, or sure, you can look at mommy's phone and play this game. And um, their brains are too important and their development is too important and their sleep circadian rhythms are too important. Their hormonal balances are too important. Their biofield, the electromagnetic biofield that makes up all of our physiology from a very quantum physics level, is too important for me not to be paying attention to what I know to be true, like the neuroscientist in me and the psychologist in me and the mental health counselor in me, the mom in me, the physician in me. It all knows, it all feels aligned with knowing that, um, developing, helping to nurture and nourish well-rounded, resilient, compassionate, empathic human beings comes along with the conviction for me of curbing screen time, because it's challenging being a parent in this current landscape of life, right? And I think it's even more challenging to be a child, to be bombarded by, um, all of the ways that the world is, and all of the ways that technology is being introduced at earlier and earlier ages and then marketed as educational toys, or this can, educational games and apps, and this can help you, help them because they'll need to function in today's digital world. And honestly, the digital world is changing so quickly, and rapidly, that even I have trouble keeping up. Like we all do. Like there's newer versions of things and new things to download and new updates to install and new ways to interface all the time. And that's a beautiful thing. So I am opting out of the mindset and mentality that I don't want my children to fall behind. Like what I am landing upon and I can't miss and I will not compromise on is their character and how they're developing and who they're becoming and what is influencing them. And I have that gift. I have that opportunity. JD and I do, to influence them in this home, in this space and place where they're growing up, in this crazy, colorful world, in this messy, magical. And so I want them climbing the trees in our yard and playing with the hose and getting messy, getting dirty, being sandy, helping us, you know, grow things and being connected to the earth around them, to each other, to us. Um, and I very quickly can acknowledge like the slippery slope that technology is for me. How I have this big life mantra to create over consume. And that's why I'm sitting down here, is because I want to create, I know that the creator in me, I know that the human in me is so much more fulfilled and purposeful and passionate when I'm in this messy magical, like, because the magic that I'm looking for is in the work that I'm avoiding. And I've been avoiding sitting down, telling my story, writing my story. And that's why I want to write Mamatuition, about this the book that's inside me, that is me. I finally am leaning into the worth of like it's me. It's my life. It's being willing to be vulnerable, leading with that superpower and connecting with other humans. Like I am so fulfilled in my daily life. I love my life as a mom to these three exquisite miracles of aloha in Camden, Cruz, and Cord. I love being JD's wife. This is a very, we have an epic love story, and he's pursued me from the very beginning. And we get to live into this life together that we've created here on Maui and in Hawaii. Very, I feel really wealthy in that respect that we spend so much time together. Like life looks very different than we thought. Like I don't work clinically and we have one car and we're very economical about the way that we live so we can make it work here. But I also feel like all the best things are free in Hawaii, and we have big dreams that we're manifesting in big ways, that we're moving our energy, and big shifts that are happening. Calling in abundance in so many ways. And right now our marriage is interrupted by like the beautiful symphony of our kids all the time. Like we barely can probably have a conversation without being interrupted. And the time has been kind of scarce lately because JD wakes up at 4 a.m. for conference calls to like synchronize with his work team. And our babies are up really late. So I'm the night nanny and the night person, and waking up and doing all that, and doing pretty much most of the all like domestic diva stuff. And I love that. I'm living into it. And then we fall asleep and exhausted into bed at night when we make it to that. But these days are so full and they're so beautiful. And so with this digital detox, it's an added layer of like presence, to be in there with them. Like I physically keep my room in here. We call it the technology room because it's got all of JD's set up for work. And I've just been relinquishing, putting my phone in here and reclaiming that time. I actually checked my screen time. There's a function on the phone that kind of tells you your screen time. Um, and also I do like Peloton walks. Sometimes if we walk to the community pool or like even around Costco or something, I'll just click the like outdoor workout and it'll start recording. Or when we go on our bikes, I'll do a bike workout. So part of that time is even just working out. But I checked the screen time function that told me how many hours like last week, and it was 2 hours and 7 minutes a day, which was down from in March 7th. I took a screenshot and it was like 8 hours and 7 minutes a day on my phone. And again, like some of that's working out, but that's 6 hours that I've reclaimed by putting my phone in this room, and that I'm not multitasking. I'm no longer like triaging all these things. I love the fact that people respect my opinion and that I have a lot of um, friends and acquaintances that seek out, I call it curbside consults. But I mean, like the doctor's not in all the time and she doesn't need to be in, she can't be. And I'm trying to place protective boundaries around my time. So there's that. And there's also, the reformed people pleaser in me, the recovering people pleaser in me doesn't need to get back to people, doesn't need to be always available. And I don't want to be always available. Like this growing inner introvert is, she's happy, she's grounded, she's at peace, like not being connected. And that's huge for me. So I know where my worth lies. I know that I'm worthy just by existing, by breathing, by being. And I really am living into being a human being more than a human doing right now. This digital detox has been really revealing for me and how much clarity I can gain, how much I can. I'm not taking as many pictures every day. I noticed that when I went to journal because I got this 1 line a day, 5-day journal. I'm actually in year 5 now. And that sounds really cool. And it is like there's 5 years of entries here. And I'm on the 5th year, but I'm constantly playing catch up because I'll do it and then I'll miss like 3 months. And so, for example, right now I'm writing in every day, but I'm also filling in like from June and July and even January. But the point is like sometimes I use my phone to like look back at photos of that day to kind of cue me in on what happened that day. And because I haven't even been taking as many pictures because those have drastically dropped off since my phone's not around. And sometimes I'm like, oh, but I want to capture that. I want to capture this. But I'm in those moments. Not that taking pictures is bad or wrong. It's just like I'm in those moments. I'm not reaching for my phone. And I know it's innocuous. I know it's pretty innocent, but like when your kids say, hey, mom, take a picture of me doing this, or did you take a picture of it? Because like there's so many things where I'm like, let's throw it away, but we'll take a picture first. Or, oh, you did that artwork. Let's take a picture of it. Oh, that's so cute. Can you stay like that? Let's take a picture of it. Oh, can you grab your sister and Cruz, look at me. Let's take a picture of it. And they've become conditioned to that because I am a take a picture of it kind of mom. And while there's nothing wrong with that, right now where I am and how I'm feeling, I just want like organic life to just happen. And so I'm in a deconditioning phase with that, and I want them to feel like safe and free and wild to just be the wildlings that they are, the beautiful souls that they are, the leaders and the teachers that they are for me. And that's where I am. Even wearing my watch, I only wear it during workouts just to kind of look at heart rate and some of the parameters that the scientist in me loves to see that data. But I'm not, I don't need Apple Watch to tell me how many steps I did today. I don't need to know that I closed my ring or that I made it. I can feel it in my body. I'm trusting myself. This is part of my Mamatuition. It's the less is more for me, like less data, less things to carry around to triage. Tonight when I was walking Kai Kai on the beach, and like Cruz and Camden were running after me and standing on like the sandbanks and just kind of falling down and having fun. They said they didn't want to go to the beach, so they wore, which is crazy because we go to the beach every day. They didn't have their bathing suits on, but they were fully wet, like in just regular t-shirts and shorts. But I didn't have my phone to carry, wasn't carrying it around like an extra appendage that it has been for, I guess, maybe the past, it feels like 20 years, right? Since phones became a thing, like when I was toward the end of college. And like I text JD, but again, like we're mostly in physical presence with each other, so I don't need to be texting him from the other room. And I just, yeah, it's been really expansive to be in this space. And tonight, Cruz was asking me, oh, at the end of the 3 weeks digital detox, like that we're having, he always says, can you load more? Like he's so cute with the way, um, like he found this dinosaur game, and there's a couple games on my phone and on our iPad that he's played. He's really like a gamer, meaning the dopamine hits for this little guy is so strong. He loves puzzles, he loves games, so he's very enticed by these. He's very like drawn into these things. Um, and they're like the free versions, so I refuse to buy like the paid versions. And so he's always like, oh, well, let me get into this access. So can you load another one? Can you, like, and he was asking me that tonight in the most sweet, innocent way. And I was just telling him that I don't think that those games are coming back because um, I'm not trying for this to be a fad diet of 3 weeks and then we just slowly reintroduce things. Um, and again, like there's no like major psychopathology going on in our home and in our family, but I that slippery slope of like what it is and how it captures their attention and how their nervous systems get so quickly dysregulated, how my nervous system gets so quickly dysregulated, the way it hijacks like our melatonin in our brain and our sleep wake cycles, our circadian rhythms, the way the impulsivity and the way it rewires how you need, and it follows those same pathways that we do see in addiction medicine. The dopamine reward center lighting up, and um, it's 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 such a clear and easy solution to say, you know what, these screens don't need to be part of childhood. They do not need to be here in our home. They don't have a place here. And reclaiming that. And it's actually astoundingly simple and alarmingly complex to like implement, right? Because we think we can do anything for a couple weeks, just like a diet. But I'm sensing such a lifestyle shift for us, and I'm really thankful that JD's been on board too, because obviously his work and what he does is very technologically based, and technology is a blessing. It's also a curse, right? Like it's the double-sided duality. It can be both and. Um, so the amount of books we've been reading, Uno we've been playing, has been on this like massive uprise, massive upward slope. And I love that. And just hearing the way that they're imagining and playing with each other, they always played with each other really well. But I don't want Cord to grow up like breastfeeding, watching me like from the glow behind my phone. That's another thing that I've been convicted about. And, as moms, sometimes like late night, we're trying to stimulate ourselves, but I'm grabbing a book or I am singing to her and I am lost in my thoughts. And um, this is interesting that this is what's spilling out tonight because I came on here to maybe talk about birth story. But this is this is the way that I want to show up, just real raw, letting it flow, not editing anything, clearly in my glory. Um, but what if we really took a good hard look at the way that technology infiltrates our lives, because it does. I'm blessed that we have this amazing DJI camera and that I can come in here and record, and there's Zoom for me to, and I can upload it to YouTube channel and to my podcast, which is hosted on Kajabi, and all of these things that I avoid, but that are like such cool tools, right? So I'm thankful for that. And there is a blessing and there is a pathway for it to be a means of sharing. I think I was alluding to this earlier, that I am so fulfilled here in my role as a mom, as a wife, as a creative, as an entrepreneur, as a physician, as a healer. Um, I'm also desiring to build up a community of women around me. Like, I'm basing my work off of empowering women, like empowering prenatal and postpartum moms, which were postpartum forever, I believe in that. Like, you could be 6 months. We kind of think like you're only postpartum for a year. I feel like that's a societal narrative, like you're not postpartum anymore. It's like, but yeah, you are. You're postpartum forever once you've birthed a human into the world. So I'm really just desiring to build up a community around myself of uh, inspiring, just women that are on fire for their purpose, that are bold and courageous and resilient and willing to go um, against the flow of things. I have lived a lot of years of my life in a carefully curated, orchestrated manner. I always have been like real, raw, genuine, and honest person, but I've also been guarded person. That has been like a protective mechanism. I think a trauma response from childhood, just in trying to people please at all costs to ensure that I was loved, that I was accepted. That's what felt safe. That's what felt necessary. That's what felt um, absolutely vital to like existence. And so that spilled over into my social relationships. And I was always somebody who got along with like all different types of groups of people. And I'm proud of that. That is me. On something. Um, I do enjoy like diverse groups and learning from people, like always being a teacher, always being a student, just this lifelong, um, unsatiated quest for knowledge. And I learn so much from people. Um, but I do feel in full honesty that I have been like lonely from a standpoint of other female relationships, friendships, because um, I've also chosen and learned in my adult life and in this, particularly in this motherhood chapter, to be really like guarded and protective over my peace and over my time and over my family. And I mean, I'm proud of that and I'll claim that. And I definitely will continue to do that. But I know also that by showing up in this way, um, I hope that it's helpful for other moms that we're here. We're here in the 2 a.m., 3 a.m. now after bedtime with our thoughts after the long days that we put in. And what if this was the work, like I'm trying to do these things to fuel myself so that I can show up better tomorrow when there's, my 14-month-old that's going to cry for me in the middle of the night or early morning if I'm lucky and she makes it to there. And then I have the newly 5 and newly 8-year-old. They're going to be so stoked to start another day. Um, and what if we trained like this was the work, not to get through the day so that we can then do whatever it is that we have on our agenda. Not to say that those things aren't important, but like this is the work. I am creatively magnificent and I am endlessly inspired by spending my days with them and among them and with like, I don't need them to be shoot out during my workout. Like I want them to see me working out. I want them to see me choosing self-care as healthcare. I want them to see my sweat as my crown. I want them to see me living into that because that feels good for me. That feels inspiring for me. And then I peel myself off the couch tonight to come sit down and press record right now and talk about, I guess, what ended up being the digital detox and what I'm currently traversing, embracing, resisting all of those things, struggling through, and also gaining so much clarity, like all of it at the same time. So I'm open to it. And what I do know is that I have a story to tell. It's worth telling. And we are storytellers as women. I feel really strongly in that. I think our ancestors, our grandmothers, said this before, were epic storytellers. They that has been passed down in our DNA to us. And I want us to reignite and reclaim that. And I'm starting. I was thinking like, I gotta write this book. Like I'm finishing up and about to serve my second children's book into the world, which is super exciting. And that's amazing. And I love that I've done that. And I'm here for that. Uh, but my story and Mamatuition, the superpower of our mother's intuition, is also a story that I've been incubating and growing inside me for the 42 years of my life. And I want to write it. And so the way that I'm writing it is speaking it, because my love language is words of affirmation. So sitting here with these words and allowing them to spill out and trusting them to come in a way and in a flow and in a manner that is reverent and that is possibly irreverent, whatever. It's it's all happening for my highest good, and I hope for others, that it may serve them as well. It may serve you potentially as well in your path, in your story, because we are all connected. And really, it's ironic, like I'm coming to you through electronic media, but that invitation to disconnect, to connect is always there. And I'm really feeling that right now in terms of disconnecting from the devices that are literally like another digit, another finger, another arm, that are kind of always attached to us, and just living the candid life, allowing life to unfold and flow in just a wild manner. It is one wild and precious life. Like anytime when I was really aware of like being at the beach tonight and how many people were taking pictures of the sunset from behind their phones and then just like sharing it and looking at it and sitting there. Tommy Bahama chairs they got from Costco, and this is I don't like when people say I'm not judging, because like inherently we are judging. So I was judging that they're sitting there, and what it feels like not fully in this like moment of this gorgeous sunset. And I'm sure these are lovely, amazing humans. Like, what has technology done to us? It's taken away, it's robbed us a little bit of that, a lot of it, of that ability to be present, to be just awestruck, to be blown away by nature's gift to us, by the presence of the person right next to us. A lot of conversation is generated from like, what headlines did you read, or what did Apple or consider worthy of pinging, or whatever it's called, like news flashing you. That's not even the right terminology, but you know what I mean? Like I turned those off a long time ago, the notifications. That's because I didn't want like them to be choosing what I should be receiving. I'm somebody who, as a deeply empathic person, like the inflammation of the news and media, I can remember as a very young girl, like my grandparents having on, I spent the night at my grandparents' house a lot, and have them watching like the 5 o'clock news and again the 11 o'clock news. And the headlines for those were always like super heavy. And that I took with me, like it just like instilled so much fear and anxiety with me. And the TV was always on. Felt like as an 80s child, and I think this was my experience, was probably not different than a lot of people's. But now in my adult life and how I want my children to grow up, I don't want them to take on the inflammation of the world when they're still trying to calibrate to the world. The world is a beautiful place. It's amazing. It's broken. It's beautiful in its brokenness. How can we heal? How can we be part of the healing? And that comes from being healed ourselves, right? And so I'm working on healing myself. And really, I feel like that's a large part of why Cordnalo came into my life, and maybe a mom a third time over, was to invite healing. And I'm going to get into that with the birth story, her birth story. But I'm doing the work to heal the wounds, like the traumas, my childhood wounds, so that I can show up as a better mother, a better wife. Better is maybe not the word I even want to use, like a more aware and grateful and empathic version of myself, because I know that to be true. And I know when I'm not showing up in my full capacity to love and be empathic and listen and encourage and laugh and be humorous. Because, like, the best version of myself is unfiltered. She's funny. She doesn't care. She's bold. She's courageous. That's when I played my best soccer. That's when I am like the most fun as a friend, as a mom, as a wife, all of it. And that's when I'm like, I'm having the most fun. So that's the version of me that I know that I'm stepping more and more into, and that I want to show up here with. So yes, welcome to Mamatuition via my the Mama Mindset podcast. That's going to be the platform to help me house these thoughts as they come. But really, it's my story, and I'm going to jump around of like topics and story and things that have happened and are happening in my life. And I think, and I hope and pray that it is impactful for other people. And truly, though, the purpose of it is for me to sit down and record, and this to be like self-care is healthcare, and for me to continue deconstructing the trigger of like being selfish that I always ran from and felt like was going to be my greatest fatal flaw, my Achilles heel. Like, whenever that was said by family members, it would create like such a deep well of anxiety within me. And I now know that selfishness is actually my superpower, because it actually means that I am taking care of myself, that I am placing protective boundaries around my heart and around my energy, and that I am lovingly confronting whoever and whatever might feel differently about that. And that I'm okay with allowing people and knowing that people will have their own emotions and reactions, and that's perfectly good and valid. And still, everything is happening for our highest good, all of our highest good. Um, so yeah, so here's to me sitting down, writing this story, speaking my story for me. And may it be a beacon, like, for you to write and speak your own story, because I think all of our stories are worthy of telling, and we all get to step into the highest versions of ourselves, which could definitely be you in your postpartum hairs at 3 a.m. Yeah. So aloha, and I'm proud of myself for sitting down. Good job. Good job, me, because you didn't want to do this. You wanted to eat more of like the chickpea chocolate chip cookies that you made. And you wanted to scroll. You wanted to get your scroll on, and you wanted to try to get in and brush your teeth and maybe read some more of your book. But you didn't. You sat down and you did this, and this is a day one type of mentality, and this is a win, and I'm going to celebrate that, and I love that. I love this for me. I love this for you. And thanks for that. Aloha. This is we do an end here.